Okay, so thank you everyone. So in this session, I'm going to discuss about the data factory. Okay, Azure Data Factory related to one of the ETL tool, extract to transform load concept. So ETL tool, we have a n number of ETL tools available in the market. This data factory related to Microsoft Azure only. Microsoft Azure having only one ETL tool. That ETL tool name is called Azure Data Factory. Okay, let me pull this document. So we have a source data, whether it's a batch processing data. Batch processing data means like a structured data or else file system related data, CSV, Park, AVRO, JSON, or else we have a real-time streaming data. So by using this Azure Data Factory, it is a ETL tool. Azure Data Factory is going to connect the source system and extract the data and load the data into staging layer, that is Azure Data Lake Gen 2. Under the Azure Data Lake Gen 2, we have a containers bronze and silver and gold. So based upon project requirement, especially in performing the transformations in Azure Data Factory, so related to ETL, right? Extract to transform load. Transform means, especially data factory itself, we have a concept called data flows. By using these data flows, we can perform the transformations. But data flows only um, designed for handling this transformation in the graphical manner. So here there is no programming language required under the data flow. Okay, so there is a limitations, but in data flows there is a limitation. So here client requirement is I want to do some customization through programmatical manner only. I want to perform some transformations. In future, I don't know. I need a more cluster. I need to handle the large volume of data. I'm not sure about my traffic from the source system. Okay, so on that time, we'll prefer the Databricks. Okay, so for performing the transformations, we have two techniques. One is data flows and second one is Databricks. Okay, so data factory is going to extract the data from the source system and load the data into bronze layer. So once the data which is available in bronze layer, by using these data flows and Databricks, we are going to connect the bronze layer, and this bronze layer having the raw data, right? Here we need to perform the data cleansing, data enrichments, removing the duplicates, removing the null values, preparing this good schema, right? This type of activities we are going to perform by using these data flows and Databricks. Next, we'll prepare a good data. That good data we are going to move into the silver layer by using data flows and Databricks. Once the good data which is available in silver layer, so here based upon client requirement, we are going to perform some business rules and validations like data distribution, optimization technique, exception handling, okay, joining the multiple tables, such type of business things which we are going to perform under the silver layer and move the final data into the gold layer by using data flows and data flows. Okay, so here, so based upon your requirement, here we have a destination, whether it's a SQL or a Synapse or a Snowflake. So we are going to load this data into the our destination, whether it is a RDBMS or a data warehouses. Once the data which is available in your destination, by using this Power BI and Tableau, we can connect your destination, right, will generate some reports. While moving this ETL flow from source to destination, here we need to follow some rules and regulations like a data governance techniques like Azure Active Directory, Azure Key Vault, role-based access control permissions, VNet, subnet, private endpoint, so that we can move the data from source to destination in a very secure manner. Okay, so here Azure Data Factory is going to play the important role, right? Connecting the source system, performing the transformations, and load the data into destination. Okay, so let me jump into the data factory. So while creating the data factory, we have a multiple options here. Let me pass the mandatory information. And one more thing, we are not going to create any services in real-time projects. So these services creation will be taken care by the DevOps team. Okay, data factory test something. I'm going to maintain the entire thing into same region and same resource group. So I will show you the Git configuration later. And already you guys know, right? I want to connect my data factory securely and privately. I don't want to give the access to the other team members. So we have a virtual network. We need to select the virtual network, either a private endpoint or a directly virtual network. So there is a set of range IP address comes to the picture. So who are part of that range IP address, only those people can access this your data factory. Next, tag especially helpful to the environment point of view. Okay, if something is gonna wrong with some environment, So for easily identification point of view, tags especially helpful. So each and every resources we have a tags, guys. If you're creating the keyword, yes, we have a tags. If you're creating resource group, yes, we have a tags. If you're creating data factory, Databricks, logic apps, function of any service in Microsoft Azure portal, if you are creating any service, so we have a one option called tags. By using these tags, if something is going wrong with that resource, for identification point of view, we are using the tags concept, right? Data factory created. Once the data factory is created, scroll down. Here there is an option called Launch Studio. Launch Studio. Click on Launch Studio. It will navigate it to the another window. Right. Now successfully we are launched the Azure Data Factory. Okay. This code setup repository will do later. I will show you after some time. So here in left side, we have a 5 tabs: Learning Center, Manage, and Monitor, and Author, and final one is Zone. Okay. So generally, if you are planning to learn Microsoft Azure portal, right, you need to know about some basics or hierarchy, like tenant ID, next subscription ID, next resource group, right? So we used to follow some hierarchy. Here also, in Azure Data Factory, there are important components available. By using these important components, only we can perform this ETL process. These components is going to play the very, very important role. The very first important component is integration runtime. Integration runtime. So integration runtime is it's provide the compute infrastructure. Now the question is, what is compute? Compute. See, I have a laptop. My laptop having some configurations, right? RAM, memory, and hard disk, like i3, i5 processor, and 500 GB hard disk, right? 8 GB RAM, right? Those things comes under as a compute. Those things comes under as a compute. Means while creating the infrastructure, while creating the integration runtime, we need a compute. The reason is, so we need to connect the source system. We need to connect the source system, right? We need to extract this data, right? So while extracting the data from source system, so we need to set up this integration runtime. Then only we can, it will provide some gateway connectivity, means security. It will provide some security mechanisms. Then only we can extract the data from this source to our ADL agent, right? For doing these things, we needed some compute infrastructure. Then only we can perform these things, gateway connectivity. So integration runtimes also, it will provide some compute infrastructure. So integration runtime is going to act as a gateway connectivity. Integration runtime is going to act as a gateway connectivity from your source to Microsoft Azure cloud. So gateway connectivity means, so it will inbuilt it having some security mechanisms. So then only we can securely access your source system. We can move our data source to our Microsoft Azure cloud. So integration runtime will play the very important role. The very important and first component is integration runtime. Okay. So based upon your source, guys, whether it is AWS or any GCP or any Snowflake or any REST API or on-prem SQL server or on-prem file system, depends. So depends upon source, you need to choose the which integration runtime, that which integration runtime is suitable for your source. For example, my source related to the AWS, my source related to the Snowflake, my source related to the some REST API. All right. My source related to within the Microsoft Azure services only. My source is blob storage. My destination is something same storage account, but Azure Data Lake Giant. Right. This Azure blob and storage blob and storage ADL agent both are related to the Microsoft Azure services only. Right. If you are planning to move the data from within the Microsoft Azure services, means source Azure services, destination Azure services. If you are moving the data from within the Azure services, you can use the auto resolve integration runtime or Azure integration runtime. Okay. If your source related to AWS or a GCP or any REST API or any Snowflake, yes, you can use the auto resolve integration runtime and Azure integration runtime. Okay. because our sources actually it will be there into the within the cloud itself only. Majority our sources it will be there into the cloud itself only. On that time, auto resolve integration runtime or Azure integration runtime is the best choice to move the data from within the Microsoft Azure services or other cloud services or any REST API or any Snowflake data warehouses as well. That is very first important. Second one is there is a one more integration runtime, that is a self-host integration. Here, my source is on-prem system, especially if your source is on-prem system, your destination is Microsoft Azure storage account or Microsoft Azure SQL or Microsoft Azure Synapse. My source is on-prem only. So only self-hosted integration runtime is the best choice for on-prem sources. On-prem sources. If your source related to the within the cloud services, right? Within the cloud means either AWS or Azure or GCP or any REST API or any Snowflake, right? If your source related to these services, auto resolve integration runtime, Azure integration runtime is the best choice. If your source related to especially on-prem, only on-prem, only self-host integration runtime is the best choice. Okay. For example, my source is anything, whether it's on-prem or any other clouds. Okay. My source having the SQL Server related packages, SSIS packages. I want to move this SSIS packages, sir. I want to move this SSIS package from source to destination. That's it. I want to lift and shift the SSIS packages from my source to the my target. It does not matter whether it is related to the within the cloud or any on-prem related. So if you're talking about SSIS related packages, if you are planning to move only SSIS packages from source to the your Azure cloud, SSIS Azure SSIS integration is best choice. Okay, so I'm repeating one more time. Integration runtime means it will provide this compute infrastructure. It will act as a gateway connectivity from source to the Microsoft Azure cloud so that we can access our source securely. We can move the source data into the Azure cloud in secure manner. Okay, so see, while if you select the auto resolve integration runtime, we have a data flow runtime. See, we have a compute, core count, core driver codes, right? So some same like RAM, right? We have a 8 GB RAM, 4 plus 4, 8 GB RAM, so that we can increase it, right? Same, right? At what scenarios we are using this RAM memory hard disk? So definitely we need a server. That server definitely we need this RAM memory hard disk. Means we need to provide some compute, right? Integration runtime means it having some compute infrastructure to move this data from source to the Azure Data Lake Gen 2 in secure manner. So there is a backend cluster will be created. Cluster means group of machines. Why we are maintaining the group of machines? Right here we are handling as a data engineer, we are handling the large volume of data. Maybe my source system having the large volume of data. I need to handle my large volume of data. So I need a clusters, right? So this integration runtime having some compute infrastructure to handling the large volume of data, right? For example, if you create a Azure integration runtime, let me select Azure integration runtime. See, I want to access my Azure integration runtime securely privately. Yes, we have a virtual network. Okay, so I need more compute. Okay, I have a server. So if for example, I have a laptop, my personal laptop. My personal laptop having 4 GB RAM, just 4 GB RAM. Okay, 500 GB hard disk. I3 processor. If you use these configurations, I'm planning to do my office work. Right. Definitely, you may feel some latencies, right? If you open any software, it will take a lot of time to load because your configurations is very low, right? No, I don't want this configuration. I need a high configuration. Then only I can do my office work. Yes, here we have a medium. Next, we have a large. Even though here we have a custom. Okay, I will explain these concepts later in detail. So the main conclusion is integration runtime means it will provide the compute infrastructure to connect our source system. It is going to act as a gateway connectivity from your source to Microsoft Azure cloud. So we can move our data from source to your Azure cloud as a secure manner. Okay, so there are different types of integration runtimes available here. So based upon your scenario, we need to choose the integration run. Okay, right. I will give the separate time for these questions, guys. Let me jump into the linked services. Linked services. The very first component is integration runtime. So I have a PPT. I will upload this PPT after the session. I don't want to waste the time for especially explaining this PPT and all. Just you can read it. Okay. We need a real-time examples. See, next I have a linked service. Next, second service is linked service. Very first component is integration runtime. Yes, now we are good into the integration runtime. Next, linked service. Then what is linked service? Right? Linked services means it will provide the connection string. It provides the connection string. Okay, means, okay, we have a source data. We have a source data and we have a Azure Data Factory. Fine. By using this integration runtime, we are going to set up this integration runtime in the source system securely and privately. There is a gateway connectivity, it will be provided. And okay, fine. Okay, fine. Right. Here, consider guys, my system, this is my C drive. C drive. Okay. So in on-prem machine, consider this is my source, my on-prem Windows machine. Here I have a C drive, D drive, E drive. So there is a one more drive. The drive name is called shared drive. Shared drive. Okay, definitely in on-prem systems we have a shared drive. So it's look like a C drive only, right? So if you open that shared drive, we have a folder. Inside folders we have a data. Whether it is Excel data, CSV data, Parquet data, JSON data, structured data, we can able to see the data under the shared drive. Okay, right. So I want to access this specific drive, or else I want to I want to move this data. I want to move this specific data only. This like a .NET data. Okay, I want to move this data from source to the my branch layer, from source to the my branch container. I want to move this data only. Right. So if you are planning to move this data from your on-prem system to the Microsoft Azure cloud, so we just set up the integration runtime. That's it only. Integration runtime is it will provide the gateway connectivity, right? Security as well as there is a compute infrastructure. It will provide. Okay, fine. Then what is the purpose of linked service? I want to connect my data. Only authentication and authorization people only can able to access my data. I don't want to give the access to the others. Okay. So I want to access my data only authorized and people's only. Right. So linked services is going to act as a connection string, means authentication and authorization manner. Okay. Here we have two options. Where your data which is located, whether your data which is located into data store or a compute. Data store or a compute. Okay. So while creating the linked services, here we have two options: data store and compute. See, let me check it. See, Amazon Redshift, Amazon RDC Oracle. So these are all these things which is comes under the data store, like Amazon S3 bucket, right? Azure AA, Cosmos DB, MongoDB, NoSQL, Azure Blob Storages, Azure Data Lake Gen 2, right? Azure Data Lake, Azure Key Vault, File Storage, all those things comes under the data store. Okay. So compute means we have a data factory one compute, Azure Batch one compute, data lake analysis one compute, Databricks compute, Azure function compute, Azure HD Insight compute. These things actually comes under the compute. Okay. For example, my source is on-prem SQL Server, guys. Azure SQL Server is different, on-prem SQL Server is different. So if your service related to Azure SQL source, then you need to search as the Azure SQL. My source is on-prem SQL Server. Okay, my source is on-prem SQL Server. So here, while connecting your on-prem SQL Server, we need a authentication and authorization access. Means linked services is going to act as a authentication and authorization access. So here we need to specify your linked service name and Based upon your source and destination, you need to select your integration runtime. Okay. Next here, we need to pass the server name, database name, which authentication techniques you guys are using, SQL or Windows, you need to select it here. So like the way we need to create an integration runtime. For example, consider my integration linked services. Like the way we need to create a linked service from the source, right? And one more thing, guys, we need to create a multiple linked services. We need to create a one linked service for source, one linked service for destination. In case if your source and destination are having some sensitive information like a passwords or a connection string, right? We need to store that information in secure manner. So we have a Azure Key Vault service which is available in Microsoft Azure portal. By using this service, we can store our sensitive information like a passwords, connection strings, and any SSL certificates. We can store this information into the Azure Key Vault so that it will be more secure. So even though we need to create one linked service for Azure Key Vault as well. Finally, in real-time projects, majority we are going to create the three linked services. One from source, one for staging layer, sorry, four linked services. One for source, and second one for staging layer, that is Azure storage account ADL agent 2. Third one is destination. Fourth one is Azure Key Vault. Okay, like the way based upon the requirement, we need to create a linked services. For example, my source is on-prem SQL server. So I have just created one linked service for on-prem SQL server. So now we need to move the data into staging layer, right? Azure Data Lake Gen 2. We have a branch container. So here we need to create one more linked service for your Azure Data Lake Gen 2. So, okay, here we need to create one more linked services. So select the integration runtime, select the which authentication techniques in your project you guys are using, and which subscription you guys are using, under which subscription into storage account name. You need to select some mandatory information. Next, you need to create a linked service. Okay, next, we need to create one more linked service for destination. My destination is Synapse, guys, data warehouse. Okay, so here again, you need to give the integration runtime for your data warehouse, and you need to choose the correct integration runtime. And here we need to pass the subscription names and server name, database name, authentication type, right? We need to specify these details. But here we have a username and password, right? So this is not the right way to specify the password here. So that's the reason here we need to store these passwords and connection string into the keyword. For that reason, here we are going to create one more linked service for keyword. So like the way we are going to create the multiple linked services into the real-time projects. Okay. So whatever we are creating the options, right, there is a mandatory information is there. So we need to pass the mandatory information. That's it. Okay. I'm repeating one more time. Linked services means it will provide the connection string, means authentication and authorization. So here I have a source data. Right. Before pulling the data from source to the my storage account uh, uh, staging layer, first we need authentication authorization, right? So then we need a one linked service. I need to load the data into my staging layer. So we need a one more linked service. I need to load the final data into my destination. We need a one more linked service. The source and the staging layer and destination having some sensitive information, right? We need to store that sensitive information into the keyword. So we need to create one more linked service for keyword. Okay. Like the way depends upon situation and requirement, we need to create the multiple linked service. The very first component is integration runtime. Integration runtime provide the compute infrastructure, means it will provide the gateway connectivity from source to the Microsoft Azure cloud. Next service is linked services. Okay. Right. And third one is pipeline. Third one is pipeline. So pipeline means set of activities, set of flow. We need to process one by one, right? Pipeline. Third component is pipeline. So inside pipeline, here we are going to add the multiple activities in real time. Once if you enter into the real time project, we have a multiple pipelines, and each and every pipeline having the multiple activities, like a lookup activity, For each activity, inside for each, we have a get metadata activity and copy activity and store procedure activity. So like the way we have multiple activities available into the each and every pipeline. Okay, I want to here I'm running my pipeline. If some situation 100% our pipeline is going to fail or a success mode for notification purpose, I need a web activity. Like the way, so if you enter into the real-time projects, if you click on your pipeline, right, you may see multiple activities. Each and every activity having own process. So pipeline means set of activities. So depends upon activity. Here we are gonna create the data sets. So depends upon activities. Here we are gonna create the data set. So data set means simply which data you want to refer. So for example, this is my on-prem mission. Right now I'm in shared path. Shared path. So here I have a 10 folders. Okay. I don't want to access these 10 folders. I want only specific folder, .NET folder. I want to access this folder only. I don't want remaining folders. So data set means which data you want to refer, which data you want to access. Okay. So based upon the activities, we are going to create the data sets. Maybe one data set for lookup, one data set for get metadata activity, two data sets for copy activity, one data set for store procedure. We are not going to create the data sets for all activities. So it depends upon situation. Only few activities we are going to create the data sets. So data set means which data you want. For example, here we have a CSV data, Excel data, Parquet data, JSON data, structured data, real-time streaming data. My data which is available in on-prem, we have a multiple data. I don't want this entire data. I want only Excel data. I want to refer this data only, not remaining data. Data set means which data you want to refer. Okay, like the way we are going to create the multiple data sets. I'm repeating one more time. So the very first activity is integration runtime. Second activity is linked service. Sorry, first component is integration runtime. Second component is the linked service. Third component is pipeline. So pipeline means set of activities. So it depends upon situation. Activities having the data sets. Activities having data sets. Okay, right. My pipeline successfully designed. Okay. I want to run my pipeline on a schedule manner. I want to run my pipeline event-based manner. I want to run my pipeline on a some tumbling window trigger manner. Right? So here we have a one more component. The component name is called trigger. Fifth component name is trigger because I don't want to manually run my pipeline. Whenever any new data is arrived into my source system, I want to run my pipeline automatically. Or else my pipeline, I want to run my pipeline every day, specific time only. Every day I want to run my pipeline daily 2 times or 3 times on a specific interval of time. Okay. So like the way based upon your need, here we need to define the triggers. Trigger means, so manually we are not going to run your pipeline. So based upon your source input data and based upon your requirement, we are going to run the pipeline automatic manner. There is no manual process here. Okay. So here we have a triggers available like a schedule trigger, tumbling window trigger, event-based trigger. Sorry, I want to run my pipeline schedule manner on particular day, particular time, okay, particular time zone. On every 15 minutes, I want to run my pipeline. So we have a schedule trigger. So we have a storage event trigger. Okay, if any event happening into my storage account, like insert or update or delete something, right? Automatically, I want to run my pipeline. Next, tumbling window trigger. So here there is a window we need to create it. Some time interval here we need to specify it. Based upon time interval, I need to start. I want to run my pipeline, and we have majority these three triggers available in the data. Okay, so the very first component is integration runtime. It provides the compute infrastructure, means it will provide the gateway connectivity so that we can move the data from source to the destination secure manner. Next, we have a linked services. By using these linked services, it will provide the connection string, authentication and authorization manner. So it depends upon your source and destination and staging layer and sensitive information manner. We need to create a multiple linked services. And the third component is pipeline. Pipeline having the set of activities. And fifth component is data sets. Okay, so based upon your activities, we need to create the data sets. Final component is trigger. So like the way we have a multiple components available into the data factory. By using this all the components, we are going to move this our source data into the our target environment. So without these components, so we can't move the data from source to the target mission. So each and every component having the own process. So here we need to do this step-by-step manner. The first step is we need to do integration runtime. Second step, we need to do linked services. Third step, we need to do the pipeline, inside pipeline activities. Depends upon requirement, we are going to add the data sets. Next, we'll do the trigger part. Any questions?
Seven in trigger, you mentioned a schedule trigger and tumbling window trigger, right? We will schedule the time like that. You mentioned what is difference between the two both
I will explain the
schedule.
trigger concept later.
Okay.
Okay, we have a dedicated labs because I need
Okay.
to show you the real time.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank
Okay. Others, any questions?
Yes,
you.
I have a question.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I'm currently working on MNC,
Okay.
but yeah, for the last 1 year onwards, I am working for a particular tool. It is like a Microsoft Word document like that only. So previously, I'm working in .NET, but I could not understand the things properly. That is why they moved from coding part to tool part. So how it is suitable for me, the
Not
this.
only you, any
Mhm.
people can select this course. Okay, even though in this participants, there is a non-IT peoples also is there. So depends
Okay.
upon market situation. People, everyone can switch to the older technology to the newer technology. For example, I'm earlier we have a classic SP, so I'm not interested to work with the classic ASP. I want to go for some cloud environment or a class advanced core ASP.NET. Yes, that is my interest. Okay, for example, one of the candidates is working with something Java, so he's struggling to write the Java code. So you want to go for the very easy jobs with respect to the IT industry. So it depends upon his interest and his experience related to the previous. So you can switch out to the any technology, whether it does not matter, data engineer or a data science or a DevOps, your interest. Okay.
Got it. Yeah. One more question. Is there any coding part is involving this
Yes.
course? Or?
It is very less coding only. In PySpark point of view, we are going to write this PySpark code.
Okay. Okay.
The code is already ready-made there into the Stack workflow and AI tools. And project, even real-time projects also having the same code already. But make
Okay.
sure you need to know about the topics. So if you know the all the topics, right, that is very, your job is very easy.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Yeah. What is the Jenkins job creations is
Here
involved
we
in this?
don't have any Jenkins. Jenkins related to the DevOps. Jenkins is
Oh.
a CI/CD tools. So here I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to show you the CI/CD tool that is related to Microsoft Azure DevOps.
Okay. Got it.
100% we are going to discuss this Spark. Majority of the lab, I'm gonna show you the Spark related only, Vamshi.
Okay. How can we conduct the lab sessions? We directly go.
I'm giving you some tasks related to your batches. For example, I'm gonna give one task. Hey, your source is a blob storage. So there is a you need to maintain some data into blob. So you need to read this data into the Azure Databricks. So you need to perform this type of transformations you need to do. Like the way I will give some tasks. So task, I will give this task. Parallel, I will give the notes having the screenshots and everything. You need to do practice from your end. And if you have any questions, if you are facing any issues, we have a WhatsApp group. You can feel free to ping your question into the WhatsApp group. Or else in before session or after session, you can share your screen. I will help you for resolving your issues.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Shravan, as
Yeah,
part of
please.
the in the initial session, you mentioned that it's not our responsibility to create all this data factory or other resources in
Correct.
Azure. So the DevOps people will generally do that. So once we get into the project, it's most likely we have all the resources set up by the DevOps, and we just need to kind of use those resources and do the tasks that are requested.
Yes, yes. These resources are already created by the DevOps team. Inside resources, our responsibility for designing the ETL pipelines, writing the Spark code, scheduling the jobs in by using workflow, or
Okay.
build and deployment into the Azure DevOps, whatever doing the ETL process or something. Those responsibility we need to take care of it.
Okay. Yeah,
Shravan,
thank you.
Yeah, please.
how will we get the requirements, Shravan? In my company, we are using Jira Story.
Yes,
Like
same,
that, we
right?
have
Same.
Okay.
Same IT nowadays every IT we are gonna follow the sprint based methodology, agile based methodology, Kanban, right? So we have a user stories or a work items. So we have a on-site and offshoot team. So this Scrum Master is there, right? Scrum Master is going to assign the user stories. So we have a sprint planning calls, sprint retrospective calls. So based upon the user stories, we used to take care of the priority. We'll deliver the user stories. And before taking the user stories, you need to know about the task related information. If you're not sure about, right, before taking the user stories, first you need to take the proper information from the your team or a or on-site team or else your
Functional team.
yes, correct. Respect to POC person, you need to take the correct information. Just you can next you can do the your development.
Fine.
Yeah.
Shravan Kasim.
Yeah, please, Kasim.
Shravan, see,
Can you speak louder if you don't mind? Your voice
yeah,
is very
sure,
low.
sure.
Yeah,
Okay. Are you able to hear me?
yeah, able to hear you.
Yeah. So, for each person in the team, they will assign their separate task. So each
Correct.
person will create a different pipeline. So,
No,
how
no,
they
no,
will.
no, 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 no. Project having the unique pipelines, okay?
Uh,
Okay. So 99% every day we are gonna work with the Databricks part only.
okay.
So and every day our pipeline is going to the success mode or a failure mode. If your pipeline is going to fail, right, you need to check it where exactly your pipeline is going to fail. So mostly source system point of view, we used to see the issues. So you are going to connect with the source system and check with the source schema types and the data. Then you can rerun the your pipeline. Okay, we have a fixed pipelines our entire project. Okay, we don't. So in once if you enter into the real time projects, right, you may feel you may definitely see the multiple pipelines, not a one or two pipelines. Definitely more than 5, 6, 10, 20, 30 something.
Okay,
Yeah.
for the silver, let's say if it is a branch layer, how many pipelines will be there? Like, is it a
No,
single or like?
see, let me show you the project flow. Right. So as per this project flow, our source system is our source. We have a source system. Very first step is we are going to connect the source system and load the data into branch layer. That is one pipeline. Is it clear now? Please confirm. Can you please confirm?
Yeah, now you are audible.
Yeah.
So,
So we have a source system, right? By using this Azure Data Factory, we are going to create one pipeline. That pipeline is going to extract the source system and load the data into branch layer. That's it. One pipeline is completed. And second pipeline, right? Whether it is a data flows or a data bricks, we have a one more ETL pipeline, Azure Data Factory pipeline. Whatever you are doing data flow or data bricks, we need to add that these things into the second pipeline. Your second pipeline do this some transformations like data cleaning, data enrichment, something. Next, move the data into silver layer. That is second pipeline. Now we have two pipelines, first pipeline, second pipeline. And here we are going to create one more pipeline, Azure Data Factory pipeline. By using this data flows, data bricks, we are going to do this some business activities. That is third pipeline. And fourth pipeline, we need to load the data in from the gold layer to your destination, either SQL or Synapse. We have 4 pipelines. So each and every pipeline doing the own job. Okay. Once this 4
Okay.
pipelines is ready, right? Next step is consider. So I have a multiple pipelines. Okay. I have 4 pipelines. Right. The first pipeline connect the source system and take the data and load the data into branch layer. Second pipeline, do some transformations, data cleaning, data enrichment. Third pipeline, something. Okay, we have a multiple and consider. Okay, final pipeline is going to load the data into something your destination. We have a multiple pipelines. In real time, we have a fourth pipeline, master pipeline.
Okay.
This master pipeline having all the child pipelines. Execute pipeline. Okay, here first you need to add the first pipeline. Once the first pipeline is going to success mode, right? Next you need to add one more pipeline, second pipeline you need to add it. Next, third pipeline. So like the way we need to add this each and every pipeline into the executable pipeline. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
And
If the first
like
pipeline is going to come, wait. If the pipeline is going one by one manner. First pipeline is going to take the data from source system, load the data in the branch layer. Second pipeline doing some data cleansing, something. Third pipeline doing some data enrichment, business activities. Next we have a one more executable pipeline. This pipeline is going to load the data into my destination. Like the way, so we have a final pipeline. That final pipeline having all the master pipelines. So we are going to run our final pipeline into the schedule or event-based manner or a tumbling window trigger. Okay.
Okay. Let's say in the first pipeline, we are pulling data from on-premise data and which is having multiple tables. Like, is that one pipeline is sufficient?
Yes. Whether it's a single table or 100 tables, one pipeline is going to take the bulk of data. Either single data. Depends. For example, your Azure SQL having the 100 tables. Your requirement is you need to move 100 tables from Azure SQL to the Azure Synapse. This single pipeline is going to take the 100 tables. Because this single pipeline here, we are going to add the multiple activities inside. Okay, we have a for each activity. This for each is going to iterate the multiple tables one by one. Next, we have a data sets for copying the bulk of tables.
If it is more tables, it will take time, right?
That we need to implement it, right? In pipeline, we have options called parallelism, partitioning.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
Others, any questions related to the data factory?
Yes, Ravan. So
Yeah,
in
please.
pipeline one, so do we need to add a trigger in terms of a master pipeline? We are defining child pipelines.
Yes, master. No need for this child pipeline. Only master pipeline we are going to run it schedule manner.
Okay.
So automatically this pipeline is going to run one by one pipeline is going to execute. It means our project flow, right? Where this ETL pipeline is going to take the source system, perform the transformation, load the data into destination. This is the automatic process. Any other questions, others related to the data factory?
How to handle errors like
Yeah, I will show you that concept later. We have exception handling concept is there.
Okay.
And logs also. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Same. I will show you the same lab in Fabric as well. Fabric also. So in first the step is you need to select the data engineering. I will explain the Fabric later. Here we have a data factory. If you are planning to do only data factory, right, you need to select the data factory. Data factory. So no. My project related to the data engineering. First related to data engineering. Here I'm gonna select the workspace. Okay. Inside workspace, here you need to design a pipeline. Here I'm gonna design the pipeline. Same activities, but in Fabric, so here we don't have any options to create the integration runtimes, linked services, data sets. Here we don't have anything here. Okay. Just you need to add the activities. That's it only. Based upon your need. So here we just add the activities. Okay. That security, integration runtimes, and authentication, authorization, right? That it will be taken care by the Fabric only. Okay. See, and one more lookup. Okay. Where it is. Copy activity. Activity. Get metadata. Copy activity. Store procedure activity. Same. We can do the same lab in both cases. But when compared to the normal Microsoft Azure portal, Fabric is very easy. So because here we don't have any headaches related to the integration runtimes, linked services, data sets. So here we don't have any headaches. This type of headaches we don't have here. So that is the reason we can do our lab in a very easy manner.
Is
Okay.
it in cloud as well? Cloud Fabric?
Yes, correct only. Yeah. Microsoft Azure
Oh.
portals itself only.
Mhm.
We have a service called Fabric. Fabric is a software as a product. Okay. But make sure here we are using the Gmail. By using my own Gmail, I just do the implementations. Okay. Can you please confirm about my voice?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
So
So
why
wait,
how?
wait. So while creating the Fabric, right? See, definitely your Fabric must and should be part of organization only. Means here we need a domain, something tcs.com, techmahindra.com, something. We have a domain. So without domain, we can't able to do our lab in the Fabric and under the Microsoft Azure portal. Definitely in real-time projects only, this Fabric you can able to do it. Okay, but my Azure portal is different because here I'm using my personal email ID. Personal email ID, they are not going to allow you to create the Fabric accounts. That is the reason I have owned my domain ID. So by using my own domain ID, here I'm doing my practice and labs and all. Okay. So if you're having own domain ID, right, you can do the labs here, both itself only. But Microsoft Azure portal is different. Fabric portal is different. Okay. In real time, once if you enter the real-time project, if you click on Microsoft Fabric, if you create a Microsoft Fabric, right, it will be redirected to this URL, app.fabric.microsoft.com. Okay.
Okay. It's like client will decide whether they will go for Azure, like Data Factory or Fabric, right? It depends on project.
Yeah, my project requirement is I want to go for my project related to data engineer only. I'm not going to worry about infrastructure. I don't want these backups. I don't want this any firewalls, network security groups. I don't want these things. My project completely into data only. We are part of data engineer or a data science. We used to take care of data movements like a structured data, real-time streaming data. I don't want this all the services. I'm not going to worry about this cost and all. I need a I need a data factory. I need a Spark. I need a visualization. I need for storing the large volume of data. I need a Synapse. So on that time, you can choose the Fabric. Okay, here you don't see any infrastructure services like a mission, storages, compute. Only portal having all the services. Fabric having only specific services like a Data Factory, Power BI, Synapse, and Spark.
Okay.
So if the project involves Databricks, it's most likely will be working separately, not with Fabric.
Yes, if your project depends upon more related to Databricks, right? Here you need to create the Databricks. After Databricks, you need to create a cluster. After the cluster, you need to create write the notebooks. Inside notebooks, you need to write the Spark related codes and all. But in Fabric, we don't have any Databricks directly. They're integrating into the notebooks with Spark. But we have a
Okay.
cluster configurations is there here. But you don't see any options for a Databricks manner. Only Azure portal having the Databricks. Here Fabric,
Okay.
they are completely avoid the Databricks concepts. Okay, see, let me show you here. We have an option called create notebook. If you click on notebook, right? See, directly notebook is created. Here we don't have any Databricks concepts and all. So, but here we have a cluster configuration. Cluster configuration. Whether it is a high concurrency or a normal cluster, you need to select it. After that, you can write the code here. Same here also support the PySpark, Spark, Scala, SQL, or TSQL also it will support it. Yeah. Tomorrow
So, and
onwards.
when
Yeah, please.
Sure, sir. So when we, I mean, you mentioned that, Fabric will take care of the LinkedIn services as well. So, but as you mentioned, linked service is something like, authentication and authorization. So do we
That
provide
will be
those
taken care by the
details?
Microsoft Azure portal only.
Okay.
So here we don't have any linked services and all. Here we have a connection. Here we have a connection feature. Okay. For example, okay, right. I have a pipeline. Okay? Right. So look up, click on setting. So my source is on-prem SQL. Okay. So if I want to connect to my on-prem SQL, so here we have a connection option. Here we don't have any integration runtime linked services. Directly we have an option called connection. Okay. Here you need to select the your source. It's loading. Okay. My source is on-prem SQL Server database. You need to specify the server name, database name, and gateway connectivity authentication type sender. For example, my source related to Azure SQL. You need to specify these details. My source related to the REST API.
Okay. So no concept of key vault, Azure key vault and all those things.
Everything will be taken care by the Microsoft Azure. Here, a lot of headaches. We don't see any lot of headaches. A very easy job. Well, compared to the normal Microsoft Azure portal, we don't have any integration center. Means generally Azure portal, once if you write the Databricks notebooks, we need to add this Databricks notebooks into our again ADF pipeline. So on that time, we need to pass the Databricks cluster name and version name, widgets. There are a lot of things we need to pass it. But here, we don't have any that type of headaches here. Our job is very easy.
Got it. Thank you, Sharon.
Actually.
Shravan, this cluster size, who will decide that? As a data engineer, we need to decide, or
Yes. As a data engineer, based upon your data, we need to decide the cluster. So there are different types of clusters available in Databricks, like a power user compute, legacy shared compute, high concurrency compute. Okay. So the way of cost is different based upon the selection. So you need to decide based upon value from the source system, you need to decide the cluster. But if you select these three clusters, there is a minimum workers, maximum workers concept is there. How many missions you want minimum, how many missions you want maximum, based upon the CPU utilization. If the if the server feels some burden, if this utilization is gonna reach with more than 75%, I want to create another missions like a VMSS scale up, we have a one service, right? VMSS, virtual mission scale sets. So with the help of this virtual mission scale set, we can increase the missions, we can decrease the missions based upon your workload. For example, I have a server. If the server feel more than 70% burden, right? Automatically, I want to create 5 more missions. That same missions having these 5 missions having the previous missions, the same RAM, memory, hard disk, and all. If my CPU utilization is gonna goes to the something 40% or 50%, right? I want to decrease the five missions. So like the we have the option is which is available in VMSS, right? Scale out, scale in. Same cluster also following the same process.
Thank you.
Thank you. Others, any questions? Okay, right.
So,
Tomorrow,
yeah. Question.
Please.
So, for DevOps, DevOps engineer will allocate it to multiple projects, like, right? So, in the same way, how many data engineer అనే వాళ్ళు ఇన్ని projects కి allocate అవుతారు? Simple.
As of now, only one project. And the DevOps means they are going to do the lot of automations, right? So that is the reason. These teams, I don't know that procedure, but they are tagging into the multiple projects to take care of these automations activities. But we are a data engineer related to the developers, so we are specifically tagged to the dedicated projects.
Okay. So it is completely, normal only, right? Like how the Java
Normal
developers.
only, same like a Java.NET people, right? Same like.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Shravan, I need help actually. Yesterday that Azure one, right? When
So we'll-
subscription, so it's not working. Shall can I help you?
Okay, I will help you later because I need to discuss a lot of things in session.
Yeah. At the end of session.
I think I need to jump another session 7:30 to 9. I will ping you after 9 p.m.
Last question. So,
Yeah, please.
మామూలుగా ఇప్పుడు మనం ఫ్యాబ్రిక్ అనేది డిస్కస్ చేసాం కదా, లైక్ ఓవర్ వ్యూ అనేది డిస్కస్ చేసాము. సో మామూలుగా అన్ని ప్రాజెక్ట్స్ కూడా ఫ్యాబ్రిక్ కి మూవ్ అవ్వచ్చు కదా, లైక్ మాన్యువల్.
No, depends upon cost, priority, data movements. So depends upon, we have a low budget.
Okay.
I want only data factory, data flow is enough. Then why we go for fabric?
Okay.
My existing projects already there into the data factory and data bricks. So if you are switching, if you are migrating this existing to the fabric, it's very difficult, right? It will take a lot of time, lot of investment. The client is going to put it right. So if there is a new fresh project is going to start only for data movements, data engineer related projects only. So they are handling the big data workloads, especially they are looking for Power BI reports, especially they are loading the data into Synapse, right? So they want me to write the code into the Spark, relate to the Python, Spark and Scala sums. Then we go for Fabric.
Okay. So we are discussing steps as well, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, Shravan.
Any other questions?
Hello.
Yeah, please.
Actually, I joined late, like almost 6:55 around. So like, what was the class about?
So here I just give the introduction to the data factory only. Data factory, what are the important components available here? Like integration runtimes, types of integration runtimes, integration runtimes and link of services and pipelines, data sets, activities, triggers, and the way of doing the flow in Fabric and normal Microsoft Azure portal. I just show it as a
Okay, it's not the class 1, right? Like,
yes, class 1 only. You could treat as a class 1 only.
okay. Okay. Will I receive the recording? Because
Yes, I will share the recording session.
Okay.
I will. Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions, others? Okay, tomorrow I will start the session related to the full load concept. And in the full load itself only, I will start the Azure SQL and Azure Data Factory. We'll do the lab. We'll try to finish this full load concept in tomorrow and day after tomorrow. And so tomorrow, okay. Next, I will start the incremental load. We'll do the incremental load lab in Data Factory and Fabric. Okay, incremental load is a very, very important concept. We'll do the same lab in Azure Data Factory, Azure portal, as well as Fabric portal as well. And next week, like a Tuesday or a Wednesday, I will start the Databricks. So we'll do the same Databricks lab into the normal Azure portal and Fabric as well. So simultaneously, so we'll do the lab in Fabric and Azure portal so that we can reduce the time. Okay. So that's it for today. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, you guys can drop the call. And please use the same meeting ID for next sessions as well. And please reach out to your respective POC and share your details based upon your timings, means interest.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.